we walking in the Lego spot. So now, wait a minute. So now, mind you, so I'm telling them as we walking, I'm like, yo, you see this spot right here, Neff? I said, I wanted to take you in here so bad when you was younger. And I'm thinking as I'm sitting here thinking about it, as I'm saying it, words come out my mouth, I was like, don't feel bad, Jerry, because you already did that already. You already felt bad that you didn't get a chance to do the things that you wanted to do with your nephews. Now you still got you still got time. Don't even dwell on that, right? Boom, left that alone. I had to throw that in there just to let you know growth. Now, I mean, I don't let stuff settle no more. Well, I try not to let it settle no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I tell him, I'm like, yo, this is the spot I always wanted to take you. And I said, matter of fact, let's go in here real fast. Yo, we go in there. First thing I see, they got a bouquet of roses, and I can't remember where I seen this at somewhere.
Rachel got
and so Rachel. So I said, yo, I can't remember where I seen this at, but I said, yo, this is so freaking dope. You know I love roses because we just was talking about it, right? So we looking around, yo. The more I kept looking around, my smile just kept getting bigger and bigger, yo. Literally. I felt like a kid that never had a chance to be a kid because I never had them type of chances, yo, that have that type of child spirit. You know what I'm saying?
The nostalgia spirit of being a kid.
Yeah, I never had that opportunity. You know what I mean? Shout out to my mom and my dad and all of them. They did what they did. So I'm not upset at that at all. I'm not upset with them at all, right? So make a long story short, we go in there, we looking around, dude. We had like literally walked around that whole store,
there's so much
top
stuff in
to
there.
bottom.
There's so
looking
much
at
stuff.
Cars, Super Mario's, Hello Kitties, rose bouquet, like actual bouquets.
Have you ever watched the
Harry Potter stuff?
Have you ever watched the Lego Championships?
No, dude.
I encourage you, if you can, dude, is to look up the Lego Championships or the people like at our age and maybe a little bit older. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit older. That they have where they create these things with Legos. And they give a thing called a golden brick. I had it on my keychain. You know what I'm saying? Because my little one, she loved Legos. So I bought us like 2 golden keychains.
Yeah.
And like that's like the prize you can like receive if you find it or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And you look and you be like, okay, they Legos. But then you like realize.
Nah.
Like, and just go on YouTube and just look up the videos of people creating the YouTubes. You be like,
yo, it felt bigger than Legos to me, yo. Like just walking around there, I say, yo, this, and I'm a problem solver. I love to solve problems and stuff like. So in my head, with the ADHD and stuff, I said, what if this is a way of just working out my little head, my mental, just instead of focusing on other things, let me figure out these little trinkets in these puzzles. You know what I'm saying? And really start mind strengthening to understand.
So you gonna get into Legos?
Man, what? Yes, I'm buying my first batch in the next couple of weeks when I save up, man. I'm dead serious, yo.
You do know they got sneaker Legos, right?
Bruh, listen.
You can create.
I seen so much. I already signed. I signed up with my email and all that yesterday. Yo, I said I'm sold. I said, yo, this will not only get me to be closer to my nieces and my nephews. I said I'm pretty sure the other younger ones, they will get into this sooner or later if they want to get involved or whatnot. I'm not gonna force them, but you just kind of you can just feel it, right?
Coming up where we coming from, you know what I'm saying? Things such as if you didn't do painting, you did graffiti. That was your way of getting out. Things like Legos and Sudokus and all these things that are problem solving, brain teasers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those things unlock so many things in us that we don't even know, and it kind of goes into we grew up in an area playing Super Mario, That was a side scrolling game.
Yep.
We grew up in beat 'em up games, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Yep.
We never really looked into RPGs, role playing games. Those are those games where
which games
that would be
those?
those would be like a Final Fantasy. Those would be like a Chrono Triggers. Those would be those
Zelda,
games.
is that Zelda in there too?
Zelda isn't an RPG because it's like, for instance, card games like Pokemon.
Real fast, is Zelda a RPG? Maybe. If so, let me just know.
It depends.
I trust his instincts. I trust them. Yeah. But I just want to fact check. So if y'all know, please let me know.
It's not technically an RPG because it you know what? It kind of is. Because it has to make you use
That's why I asked.
Because you have to use your brain. You have to use your brain to unlock certain things. Like, instead of going through a side-scrolling game, it's if I pick up a bomb and I have a collection of bombs.
Yeah.
The next level, I have to use those bombs to open up a random wall.
Okay.
So that will in the next level. So that will be considered kind of like an RPG. But more, it's more of I collect energy, I collect mana, which would be my energy, and I collect power. If I go to the next level and I didn't pick up the power that was in that last level, I can get beat easier. So that's like your Dungeons and card games, Dungeons and Dragons, even your Pokemons, your Dungeons and Dragons, your Pokemons, all those card playing games are considered kind of World of Warcraft for those that are World of Warcraft players, because it's making you think. I collect these cards, and the card has points, it has energy, and it has whatever else it may come with. Maybe a shield power percentage. So if I have these cards in this pack, and you have a certain amount of cards in your pack, and I'm like, I think I got a good amount of cards.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, all right, boom, this is my blah, 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 and this is what it comes with. And then you say, well, I have these cards, and I beat your card because you have a +4, this one has a +6. I beat you. With your character. Because the character has this amount. Yeah. But you can also build up that character with multiple cards of things that you collect. Oh, I found a gem. Oh, I found a potion. Those things, we weren't used to those things growing up.
I seen it, but I wasn't.
Absolutely.
I wasn't. Not only was I not involved, I just wasn't into it, I guess.
You know why we weren't into it? Because our imaginations weren't that wild. And because growing up and how we grew up, our imaginations weren't that wild. That's why this is why. And I give a shout out to my Uncle Ron. Shout out to my Uncle Ron. He's an actor in our local area of Buffalo. He did all these things. He was the one that introduced me to things like Star Trek, Star Wars. Because
and that's a big thing out there.
It is. You know what? And we did. Growing up in certain areas, those things were foreign to us. We got into things like kung fu flicks and things like that. I am a huge fan of kung fu flicks. But we weren't able to get into things that were able to stimulate our brains. And to make us think outside the box.
I agree on that one.
Imagine me asking my homeboy that's hanging out, yo, I got these cards, man, let's play this. He gonna look at me like I'm speaking a foreign language
seriously.
Because his brain isn't as elevated into going into another realm.
You're right, because people used to laugh at people skateboarding in the hood.
Funny.
People used to laugh at people skating. Like,
funny.
One of my
hold on. You skated, but did you rollerblade?
That was one of my favorite.
And
I actually rollerblade more than I skate four-wheel.
My first pair of skates was a pair of rollerblades. I asked for rollerblades.
My man was like, we had a video when we went out somewhere skating. Me and DJ had a picture out. My man was like, oh, y'all boys got on rollerblades. And I'm like, Negro, if you was on Phyllis Avenue with us, you will understand, my dog. but you wasn't there.
It was
So you
different
don't
because guess
understand.
what?
You don't
It was
understand.
coming out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Of being able
different.
being different, expanding. Now we see people like us at Comic Cons and
Now
doing
it's cool.
Now it's cool.
Now it's cool.
After we were made, even anime things like those, you were kind of like made fun of.
Yeah. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie to you, dude. I am stoked right now. I am excited. I am excited because not only have we kept going with the podcast, not only have we kept going with these episodes, not only have we kept been able to try and serve everybody in our communities, right? But
welcoming you guys to the neighborhood.
Yo.